So have a little graphic up here, which is lovingly dubbed the Mexia marketing pyramid, or perhaps more accurately half a pyramid. And this really represents marketing activities in terms of how they affect customer behaviour. So the axis along the bottom there is looking at what we call customer loyalty. So how likely they are to repeat purchase, how likely they are to recommend you, to refer you. So the sorts of activities that have a bigger impact on that behaviour are at the bottom layer there. The axis running vertically refers to customers' behaviour in the short term. How likely are they to buy your products and services now? So the top tier up here, you can see promotion, sales promotion, offers, buy one, get one free type activity. That is where many marketers focus their efforts, is on the very short term, lead generation, more measurable, traceable activity, which is great. That's something you need to do, but there are some very important foundation layers underneath that you really need to invest in for the longer term. Right down at the bottom there, the sorts of activities that have the bigger impact on what we call loyalty are perhaps what you might term slightly more nebulous. The sorts of activities the FD and your MD might be a little bit more uncomfortable with because they are less measurable. Activities such as perhaps above the line activity, PR, social media, what we call reputation, the stuff that builds an image for your company, raises awareness in your profile and builds values for the longer term. It's those types of activities that will be more likely to engage a customer in becoming a loyal customer and moving up the loyalty ladder, becoming more of an advocate for your brand. Right in the middle there is what we call the offer. I'm sure you've all heard of the 4 Ps of marketing. Anyone? Ps? Anyone name them? It's too loud in here, I can't hear. Someone's got to really shout. Yep. Fantastic. One lady got it in one. Product, price, place and promotion. So really those core Ps of marketing activity, they have, if you like, a medium impact. They have a bigger impact on short-term behaviour, such as purchasing, than things like perhaps values and image, because obviously pricing affects it, place where you can buy it affects it. But they also have a bigger impact than promotion on loyalty. If we go into the supermarket and we see Heinz tomatoes for 20p this week, we might buy Heinz tomatoes. If we go in next week and Napolina tomatoes are 20p, we might buy Napolina. So that kind of promotional aspect will affect your buying behaviour, but it won't necessarily engender loyalty. So that's the point I'm trying to make really with that one. So in terms of yourselves, how can we actually get more value from our marketing? How can we think longer term and generate more value? I mentioned a moment ago how surprised I am to see so many companies that I come across not maximise their current databases and their current client contacts. They're quite often sitting on a goldmine. And forgive me if you're great at this and you do it really well already, but my experience is that many organisations really overlook this. They might have customers or prospects who've perhaps contacted them, they haven't quite closed that deal, and then they've sort of been fallen off the radar somewhere in the ether, and yet that is a person or a company that has some contact with your organisation, and you've immediately got your foot on the first rung of the ladder to connecting with them. So that's an opportunity which really ought to be maximised. With the current customers that you have, I mentioned earlier how much more cost effective it is to cross-sell and upsell to your current customers. You know, if you've had someone, if you're a venue and you've had someone book an event with you a year ago, have you actually revisited that? Again, may seem fairly obvious. I would rather state what I call blinding flashes of the obvious, because in my experience, a lot of companies don't do this as a matter of course. Look at opportunities to cross-sell and upsell with people who've already bought from you. Leveraging what I call your customer community. Really, some long words on there, just meaning get people together. I know some of you are struggling to see the bottom of the slides here. So what I mean by that is actually, many of you are in events. How many of you are actually event organisers in the room? Okay, excellent. So you guys know what I mean by getting people together, and you know the power of people getting together in a room and talking. So actually build on your customer communities, organise focus groups, round tables, debates, get them involved, whether that's physically or also using communities online. And I'll go on to talk about social media in a moment. The more you can make them feel that they belong to a group, which is your customers, the more loyal they're likely to be, and the more benefit you'll get from them in repeat purchase and referral. A couple of points at the bottom there. Establishing processes to get testimonials. This is something we've done with a number of clients really, really successfully. Testimonials, as we know, are really powerful. We all look to referrals from other people and what their thoughts were. How many people have been on TripAdvisor to check out a place before they go on holiday? I know you've all been on TripAdvisor, many of you there. We all like to see what other people think. So if you can get testimonials from your customers as a matter of course, then so much the better for your marketing activity. This is something we've done with a number of clients. One good example is a serviced office company with centres all over the UK. We set up a process with them, very simple form, so that the business centre manager at the location can just quickly get literally a few words, a sentence or two from a new client, feed that back into the marketing machine, and before you know it, we have a huge pipeline of testimonials to use across the board. It also makes the customer feel like you're interested in what they have to say. Would you mind a moment or two? Just let me write it down for you. Why did you choose us? What was so good about choosing us? Then you have an opportunity to revisit that further down the line and perhaps do a more detailed case study with that customer. So putting in place some processes to make that happen as a matter of course. Consumer marketing is really good at some simple schemes, such as refer a friend, buy one, get one free, all of those activities. But in my experience, B2B marketing often doesn't leverage some of those tools and techniques, and they can be applied just as effectively. Referral schemes in particular are something that are not as widely used as they could be in B2B marketing. Again, leveraging the fact that you have a group, if you like, which is your customers. They already know you. They've experienced what you offer, your products and services. If you can encourage them by offering incentives for them to refer a friend, introduce a company to your business, whether it's by offering them a discount, whether it's by offering them a value package of some sort, then you're far more likely to have some cost-effective marketing. Data capture is a subject close to my heart as, again, may seem like an obvious thing, but in my experience, so many companies miss opportunities to data capture. Again, another example in the serviced office world, they have meeting rooms. They rent out the meeting rooms. They brilliantly data capture the person who books the meeting rooms, but they don't data capture the people who attend the meetings. And those are people who are walking into their building, who are experiencing their products and services, and they haven't data captured that opportunity. So make sure you look at every opportunity to data capture. If someone has already purchased your products and services, you want to retain them and grow them into a loyal customer. So think about any renewal or extension type incentives that you can give them to book again, to buy again. We talked about opinions being important, things like TripAdvisor. Generate a culture of openness and feedback. This is particularly important in the changing marketing landscape at the moment. People like to feel that they have an open channel, they can feedback their thoughts and comments, they'll be listened to and it'll be acted upon. And the final bullet on there is something I could probably have a whole presentation on, but using PR as a cost-effective marketing tool. If you're organising an event, let's say a literary festival, which is one of the things we did, local PR on the radio, regional press, on the television is a fantastic way to promote your event with actually no real cost. You're not buying airtime, you're not buying the space. So use PR in that way. If you're holding a trade event, perhaps in the IT sector, using the trade press and getting some exposure in those publications for your event will go a long way to assisting with you getting delegates and getting bums on seats. If you do use PR, make sure you maximise the online opportunities as well to help with your SEO for your website and upload the press releases onto relevant sites. There are a whole bunch of free ones out there now, things like pressbox.co.uk and bignews.biz are just a couple. And in the meetings and events sector, there's also things like Mice Contact and some of the portals that you can use there. But do maximise that, as it really is a good value marketing tool.